Hey sheep, Pastor Jay here from Know the Truth. Some people believe that the Bible is a book of fairy tales because it mentions unicorns. However, the biblical unicorn was a real animal, not an imaginary creature. The Bible refers to unicorns in the context of familiar animals such as peacocks, lambs, lions, bullocks, goats, donkeys, horses, dogs, eagles, and calves. Except for we Christians like to fill in the gaps by giving the unicorn special abilities like magic powers, which makes sense because God can do anything. Look at Job 38 through 41. God reminded Job of the characteristics of a variety of impressive animals that he created, showing Job that God was far above man in power and strength. Job had to be familiar with the animals on God's list for the illustration to be effective. God points out in Job 39 that the unicorn, whose strength was great, is useless for farm work, refusing to serve man or plow the valley. It's hinted that its purpose was far greater than measly hard labor. In fact, if you search the scriptures and pick random Bible verses that some heathens would call cherry picking, you'll find that the unicorn was actually an angel whose sole purpose was to aid God in defeating his enemies. The visual aids in the book of Job gave Job a glimpse of God's greatness. An imaginary boring animal would have defeated the purpose of God's illustration. Modern readers have trouble with the Bible's unicorns because we forget that a single horn feature is not uncommon on God's menu for animal design. Consider the rhinoceros and the narwhal whale. In fact, the Bible describes unicorns as skipping like calves, traveling like bullocks, and bleeding when they die. The presence of this very strong horn on this powerful, independent-minded creature is intended to make the readers think of strength. The absence of the unicorn in this modern world should not cause us to doubt the presence of its past existence. Think of the dodo bird, ancient aliens, and Jesus. They do not exist today, but we do not doubt that they existed in the past. In fact, we have proof that unicorns did exist. In Africa, they just found some rock drawings of them, alongside dodo birds and Jesus, and ancient aliens. There have even been eyewitness accounts of these creatures. One such report describes a single horn directly in front, about as long as one's arm, and at the base just as thick, kind of like myself. It had a sharp point, and it was not attached to the bone of his forehead, only attached to its skin, again, like myself. The importance of the biblical unicorn is not so much in its identity, but in its reality. The Bible is clearly describing a real animal. The unicorn that's mentioned in the Bible is a fantasy animal that has been popularized by books and movies, not a farm animal simply possessing 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 horns. Whatever it was, it is now likely extinct like many other animals. To think of the unicorn as simply a farm animal is to demean God's word, which is true in every detail, including both creation accounts. Thanks for watching.